Hi, welcome to Ask Me About Dyslexia. My name is Pam Spock and I'm a dyslexia specialist. Today I would like to address a couple of questions that often come up when talking about accommodations. The first one is, are accommodations really fair? And the second one is, when do accommodations become a crutch? I don't really mind when people ask those questions. Misunderstanding often comes about because of a lack of information. That's okay. Explaining the difference between fairness and sameness is a concept that can and should be taught to people of all ages. So let's talk about that today. I'm glad you're here today. Let's talk about accommodations, as in why they are so helpful. First of all, they allow students access to education. They're reasonable. They change how students learn, not what they learn. They allow students to demonstrate what they know. They remove barriers. They level the playing field. They are a necessity, not an advantage. They remove obstacles that hinder students academically. They help students reach their full potential. And accommodations happen in the real world, whether it is because somebody makes accommodations for themselves or they ask for them. Now let's address the question of whether or not accommodations are fair. Fair does not mean that everybody gets the same, but it means that everybody gets what they need in order to succeed. Let's consider a couple of examples to illustrate this. The first one would work great with a small group of adults, maybe even at a conference with a teacher and the parent, or even an IEP meeting. Okay, so I wear glasses. They're what I need to see and therefore be successful in a classroom. Now, does everybody need glasses? Of course not. Do they give me an unfair advantage? No, they're just making it possible for me to see what I need to see. If you took my glasses away, would that be fair? This next illustration is great to use with children to teach fairness versus sameness proactively. Do an activity where you hand out injury cards. Make several cards that have different injuries on them and hand them out to some of the students. Then give everybody a bandage. Now, did everybody need a bandage? Is a bandage appropriate for every injury? It might have been appropriate for the child who had the card that had a small cut on it. But if the injury was a broken leg, a bandage is not appropriate for that. If a bandage would not work, what would? What if I say that nobody can have a bandage? Is that fair? So that little activity would be a great way to proactively teach the concept of fairness and that everybody needs different things. Now, the second question was, can accommodations become a crutch? Well, interestingly enough, traditionally, a crutch is actually a support. However, the expression using it as a crutch ironically implies that someone is relying on something that they don't really need because they are lazy or they don't want to deal with the problem directly. I acknowledge that this could happen, but it is rare. First of all, I usually see the opposite. Usually, I have a hard time actually getting the students to use their accommodations. They don't want to be different. They would prefer to struggle on than to use their accommodations and be seen as different from their classmates. Secondly, if a student is truly using accommodations as a crutch, then there has been a breakdown somewhere. The student is probably absolutely drowning academically, not getting the needed support, and turned to accommodations as a lifeboat. If so, it may be a good idea to reevaluate the student's needs. For example, the student may need help with study skills, or organizational skills, or an accountability partner. Also, the student may not realize that the purpose of accommodations is to allow them to learn with the other students, not to get a free pass. Students should know what accommodations they have why they have them, how they help, and how to advocate for themselves, especially as they get older. Fairness is not sameness. Accommodations are a necessity, not an advantage. It is extremely rare for students to use accommodations as a crutch. In fact, it's usually the other way around. It's hard to get them to use their accommodations. Thank you for watching today. I hope that this video has helped you to understand more about accommodations. Please like, subscribe, and share, and leave me a comment with a question that you would like me to answer. As always, I have a blog post about this video, and so I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Potential.